To Embedded Internals. This is 8th episode of our series, Execution Awareness series. In this episode, we are going to cover user space versus kernel space. This episode is going to be foundation of all the system calls, how the security is intact inside the operating system. It also improves the performance as well as in-depth understanding of these two layers will help you in debugging complex problems. Before going in detail of this, let me remind you of the agenda of this series. In the first episode, I have explained you the details of this program, what the each and every statement is doing. In the second episode, we have traced the journey of the program from the birth of a process to the termination of a process, how a process get created and what all steps happen behind the scene. In the third episode, we have checked the compilation stages of a program. So once the program we write any code logic, we need to compile the program. What all steps are going behind the scene while compiling the code. So basically this particular statement we have understood in very detailed manner. In the fourth episode, we once we compile the code, we get one executable file. Like here, our executable file is hello world. So what exactly inside the executable file, how we can read the executable file, its header, ELF header, program header, section header, everything we have covered in very depth detail. In the fifth episode, I have explained how when you run the program like hello world.c, what goes behind while running this program, how the shell take your request, do the process replacing, how the kernel loads the ELF, create new process, gives the memory to your process, and it's start execution. So everything which goes behind when we run this particular statement. In the sixth episode, I have explained what happens actually before the main. Can we run any program without the main function? What is the real entry point inside the kernel? How the kernel gets its start address? And how from kernel to we interact with libraries, glibc library. All these we have explained in the sixth episode. While in the seventh episode, I have covered memory layout of Linux program. What are the different segments of the Linux program? On what each segments contain and what happen when we cross the valid memory regions. So that is also very important to understand the memory layout of a program, in which we have in the current episode we are going to see there are two different spaces, user space and kernel space, and how the two different space interact with each other, how our program interact with operating system and hardwares. Taking the example of this printf statement. Okay, this printf statement is a part of glibc library, which is a part of user space, and how this printf statement get converted and what happens to this when it goes into kernel space and it return back to user space. So taking printf as an example, we are going to understand the difference of two spaces. Okay, the upper layer is user space where our code exists, and uh, inside the kernel it is called as kernel space, and these two spaces are strictly separated. So when we see our program, anything which is stored in the file is actually exist in the user space. So our program. Kernel space is all the related resources, kernel resources. Memory and everything. User space is actually a safe zone, whereas kernel space is very privileged zone where operating system core exists. I should write it as operating system core. So this is a very privileged zone. Whereas this is very safe zone. And they are not like any, they are very strictly separated. In the user space, our libraries are also there. So the glibc library or libc libraries also exist inside the user space. The terminal on which you are running the commands or doing the operations, shell, in our case it is bash shell, that also exists inside the user space. Okay. Let me write this at this area. So this is safe zone. This is privileged zone. User space has limited access. It cannot directly access the hardware because when user space can directly access the hardware, it can corrupt the it can corrupt the operating system. So it has limited access. It cannot directly access the hardware and the core operating system. Limited access, or I can say limited privilege. We have already seen it is limited privilege. Cannot directly access the hardware. Or hardware. Whereas when we say the kernel space where operating system core exists, in this space, Linux kernel, device driver, device driver, memory managers, or we can say scheduler, or virtual memory, every file system, everything resides in this layer. So all the critical resources are in kernel space, all the resources. So kernel space has full control over the CPU, over the memory and hardware. It has complete privilege, full control over CPU, hardware, as well as memory. Okay. So we see what are two different spaces, what are their privileges, and what resides in each state and its capabilities. Why we need two different worlds in Linux? Uh, the main reason for having two different separate spaces is to prevent crashes as well as for security reasons. If crashes and for security reasons, different spaces. Okay. When this separation will not exist, we will see that one one error can corrupt whole operating system because process has lots of error. Okay, so a simple error or simple crash can cause entire operating system to crash. Okay, a simple problem at user space problem. Any program can access any memory, so that will cause the lots of memories issues. Access any memory that we don't want. And user space program can directly control the hardware or corrupt the hardware, or it become unoperational. When we provide it without isolation, these things will happen without isolation. Okay, so you understand what are two different spaces, what are their privileges, and what reside inside the each space, and what things they control. Next, we see why we required these two different spaces. First is to prevent crash, because if these two different spaces with different privilege will not exist, any program can crash, any simple bug can crash the whole operating system. Any process can access any memory or can control hardwares directly, which can lead to hardware failure or system hang or any worstest or worst thing you can think of. With separation, what happens? Security, we increase the security with separation. So we see with separation, isolation has been provided. User space cannot see the kernel space. Stability of kernel has been increased, which leads to great performance, and obviously security of our device drivers, security of our memory, and all the critical resources are now secured from direct access of from the hardware, from the user level. So user cannot directly access it. So all these our kernel become more secure, it become more stable and also isolated. User world don't know what actually is happening inside the kernel. So these two reasons, this separation exists. I hope things are clear from at this point. So now the most important thing, if we want to if anyone from any program from user space wants to access the hardware or the kernel, how it will communicate? What's the communication mechanism? What's the bridge between two layers? So system call are actually the bridge between two layers. System calls. System call, the communication or the medium through which user space requests to the kernel to perform any task on the behalf of that program, that process, and kernel execute on the behalf of that process. So system call is the only way through which user space communicates or user space talks to kernel space, the bridge. We can say system call are bridge between the bridge. System calls is the only way, no other way. Only way how user space talks to kernel space. Okay, so system call is very important. We will see how what happens when we call any system call. So let us take our example of our code. We have in our code we have used one library function which is printf. Okay, so our code, which is hello world dot hello world, where we are using one statement which is printf to print our statement. So this printf statement will request the kernel to perform the write operation on the terminal or on the standard output. So this printf statement is actually calling the kernel for its operation. So inside the operation inside the kernel, printf statement will execute write. I will explain you in details what happens. Write is the system call. Inside kernel we have syswrite, which will print the command on terminal. Terminal is a TTY driver, std out. Okay. Uh, Let us first see from the terminal from so that you will get to understand this. Let us compile. I will show you code once more. So this is our code. We have used printf statement. Okay. Let us compile it. Hello world.c. ELF file will be generated as hello world. Let us run this ELF file while tracing what is happening at this level. So I have explained this in depth detail. You can see the previous videos. So new process will be created and replaced. All the memory mapping is done. And for today's episode, this is the command which will look. Now the printf statement is nowhere. Printf got converted into write. So we have added printf statement. How the write statement is coming, and what is one and this hello world. We have written this state command hello world welcome to embedded internal, that is coming in the write system call, not as printf statement. Why? So this is what we this is where the system call is playing its role. This is where the kernel this is from the kernel function, not from user space. User space is still only till uh, printf. Okay. So write is like when we so we have seen that our code calling printf statement that is got converted into a write statement. Okay. So printf is a part of glibc library. glibc library, which is a part of user space. And this is the system call. And this is the system call inside the kernel. This is where when syscall is being, so this is a part of still user space. All these two things, one library or the wrapper function, user space. When syswrite comes into picture and the terminal means the hardware or device driver, that become the part of kernel space. So we can say printf is user space convenience, whereas write is where the real action is happening. So when the Okay, when the printf statement is called libc format string, because in the printf statement we have provided one string. So libc will do the string for formats string. So read it in the particular formats. Okay, whatever string we have provided to it. And it will call the wrapper function write, which is a syscall. When this is function, this syscall will be called, CPU switches to uh, kernel mode. There the switch happens. CPU switches to kernel mode. To kernel mode. Okay. And there the kernel writes. One CPU switch. Okay, we can come to know. Now the kernel has to write to the terminal or at the device drive or anywhere. So this point, kernel writes to terminal buffer. Terminal kernel writes to terminal buffer. Once kernel write it, they at that time you will see that output string, that string on your output device. So here string will be printed. Whatever string you are requesting, that will be printed on the terminal or std out. And after the execution from the kernel space, the code will return back to, when you had statement, return back to user space. Return back. Kernel return back to user space. This is not any particular function, but it's actually returning to the user space. Okay. So this will become the end-to-end flow. I hope everyone got it. Let me just clear out this point. Kernel space return back to user space. I will quickly explain it again. So we can say that system calls are bridge between user space and the kernel space. This is the only way how user space can talk to kernel space. So when we write any code, we have any uh, library function. Like in our code, we have printf library function, which is a part of glibc library. When the printf state function will be called, glibc library will format the string and call the wrapper system call, which is a write system call. Once the write system call will execute, CPU will switch to kernel mode. And inside the kernel mode, syswrite will be called to write whatever string we have provided into the terminal buffer. And once the terminal buffer got the string, it will print in the terminal or in the standard output. Once the operation has been done, kernel space switch back to user space, or kernel mode switch back to user space. I hope now the things are clear. This is actually what is happening at that mode. So one thing I just want to explain before moving forward, what actually happens at the system call. It is a This is what actually happens. Okay, we understand once it is happened, but what are the different steps it is going through? I am just explaining what happens during system call. We see the system call is bridge, but what is actually happening, I will explain you that. The first thing, whenever a system call is made, program reads the argument or any like in this case the string. Program reads and prepares arguments. Corresponding to all system calls, we have particular system number in the system call instructions. Okay, system number corresponding to that. So syscall number is registered, or like printf is called, so corresponding number will be registered. places syscall number in register, and after that it will execute syscall instruction. Okay, we have to execute also. Execute syscall instruction. While executing, CPU is switching to kernel mode. Now the kernel handler will execute. Okay, so kernel execute the syscall handler or corresponding to particular syscall number, the handler will be run, and results are returned. Okay, results are returned, and at this mode CPU switch backs to user space or user mode. So this is what exactly happening during the system call. Like I have already explained, when the printf is called, glibc library will format the string. This is like prepare program arguments, and after that it will call the syscall instruction, right? At that, after the syscall instruction execute, CPU switches to kernel mode. Kernel handler will execute, result will be returned, and the switch back to user mode. So this context switching is done continuously. User mode, syscall, kernel mode, return back to user mode. Okay, these are continuous context switch. So system calls are actually very costly. We should avoid if we can. And this switch is what is happening is actually controlled by hardwares and kernel. Now already we have explained, but one more thing I need to clear. That what happens when the why hardware access is actually forbidden. Why hardware access is forbidden by the forbidden or let us take see, when a user program can directly access the memory, data theft will happen because we don't know the privileges. Any process can see any memory or any data can be accessed. When it can access the disk directly, disk, so it will cause a big corruption. When it will access the directly CPUs, CPU means system, when any program can CPU directly access the CPU, it will going to crash the whole system. So memory access has been forbidden to prevent the data theft. Disk access has been forbidden to prevent the corruption. And CPU access has been forbidden to prevent from system crash. Okay, so we can say that kernel, we all know that kernel act as a gatekeeper of resources. Kernel has all the access of resources, and it is managed by kernel itself. User cannot directly manage it. So what are the different kind of I have given you one example of the system call, like write system call. What are all different kinds of system call? just providing you some examples, but what we mostly use when we can say that for file operations, like here we have used, you open a file, this is a system call. You close a file, this is again a system call. Perform any read write operation, all are system calls. Okay. For the process, you will do the fork, execv, wait, all are the system calls. So like we have still seeing in the S-trace, execv, fork system call, wait system call, exit system call. These are all system calls. Like for the memory, we are using mmap. I will show you all these things. mmap, brk, signals, I hope everyone is aware of. Signal like kill. These all are system calls. Just let me show you in the S trace. You are seeing right. This is system call. BRK system call. All the S trace, whatever you are seeing is actually the system call. Unmap, PR limit to limit the to provide the S stack limit, stack limits. mprotect, arc, mmap, fstat, pread, read, open, close. All these are the system call. strace is to trace the system call only. So we are tracing the system calls. execv, mmap, openat, access. So these are the very common system call which we use in our daily program. Right? These are like the hidden kernel instructions, hidden operations. So we can say that in the libc we have the wrapper functions, whereas in the kernel actual implementation is done. Like printf is a part of libc, which whose wrapper function write is a part of kernel, where the actual implementation of printf is being done. So that is because libc makes system call very easier to use. You cannot directly, we can directly use the system call. Okay, let me show you one example. This is a printf statement. I don't want to use printf statement now. Okay, why don't I we can write directly using system call unistd. What the write will do, so write is going to write in one is what, one is to print this statement on the standard output. What is the statement is hello world, welcome. Okay, sorry. And let us see how many words are there. 1 2 3 4 5. It's around 24 statements. So 24 is the size, and return 0. Dot slash a dot out. Hello world, welcome. Okay, so this is how we can write without using the libc, also by using the raw system calls. The things are clear. What is system call, what is user space, and what is kernel space. So we can say that user space is for logic, whereas kernel space is for control, All the control is being done by kernel space, whereas all the logic is implemented at the user space. Okay, let me write this statement. When we say user space, logic, your code logic will goes here. When we say kernel space, all the control, resource control is here. Hardware, CPU, memory, everything is controlled by kernel space, full privileged. System call is bridge between both two. So I hope you are crystal clear at user space and kernel space. If there is any understanding gap or any query you have anywhere, please write down in the comment section. We will cover in the next coming episodes. Uh, the next episode, what we are going to cover is shared libraries and dynamic linking. That is going to be a very important episode. Please stay tuned for the same. Thank you. I hope things are clear. Thank you so much.